is the Seahawkers Podcast, episode 389. I'm Brandon Schultz of the Military Seahawkers, and joining me, my good buddy and Montana Seahawker, Adam Emmert.
Hey, man, good to be with you on this. What would this be? It's a streak of 3 wins. Is that a three-peat?
It is.
Can we call it that?
Well, not only is it 3 straight wins, Phil was saying on the What If show, it's 3 straight wins of 10 points or more, which...
That's a good point.
It's an impressive stretch. One that I don't think we've seen from the Seahawks. I think the statistics are saying that it was 2015 when Russ was going and tearing it up. That was the last time that actually happened to the Seahawks team.
Yeah, it's impressive. And another win on the Geno revenge tour. You got to enjoy that. You have to enjoy the fact that the Seahawks backed me up after I talked a bunch of trash about the Giants all week. So that felt nice. It'd be interesting to talk to you more a little bit about. I got to hear about the back half of your and Clinton's discussion about the game.
Yeah, because if you join live, you can't go back to the beginning. You have to, because it's on YouTube and live, you just have to jump in and listen through it to the end. You can never go back and start it over from the beginning.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not that it's physically impossible. It's just where I caught you guys, and I wasn't going to go back because I was too busy celebrating a big win by the Seahawks, even though maybe half the country doesn't think it was a real win. So I'm really excited to talk to you about it. That's pretty cool. Then we got the Dirty Cards coming up.
Yeah.
And everybody's still disrespecting the Seahawks on that one. So that'll be fun to talk about. Lots of other little tidbits too in Seahawks news.
Part of me is celebrating in the fact that I feel like I warned you as part of this, because I sense the direction you were going into the Giants game was that you wanted to declare one of the teams as for real, whoever won that game. Whereas really it was the team that loses is not for real. And really, I think in a lot of people's minds, they're probably going to say, well, neither of those teams are for real anyway, and one just had to win, and it just so happened to be the Seahawks. So I think that there's that spectrum of where people are at, and I wonder if some of it just
forgot one spectrum.
Okay,
and the point on the spectrum that you forgot is the people that are, no, the Giants are actually legit. And that was just a joke win by the Seahawks. The Giants gave it to them. They didn't show up to play.
I don't take those people seriously, so I didn't include it.
You must not take a lot of the national media seriously then, because I've heard that take multiple times now. It is unbelievably maddening for a number of reasons.
Why in the world would you take a team like the Giants, quarterbacked by Daniel Jones? I understand that Daniel Jones has been a bit of a joke in terms of the national fodder as far as his ability to play quarterback. Some of it's probably deserved. In fact, most of it's probably deserved. Whereas with Geno, he's been there as a bit of a joke based on not having played actively over many years. And so now he's to the point to where he's made improvements since the last time he was a starter. And maybe people have a hard time recognizing that part of it. But I
doesn't feel like it's a Geno respect problem, though. Like, because you're hearing all the national guys talk well about Geno at this point, right?
Yeah, you do.
But for some reason, they still... I think it has to do with Pete Carroll's old. He likes to run the ball. He likes to play defense. We can't have that crap. Screw those guys. They can't be good.
Brian Dable is young and likes to run the football. So what's the difference is ageism.
Well, yeah, we've been over this 1,000 times. They all get down on one knee and kiss the entire ass of Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan for running the hell out of the football when they're playing well. And get when Pete, it doesn't matter. It's so frustrating. But
why can't we give Pete some credit? He went for it on 2 4th downs in this game against the Giants and converted both of them
on the same drive.
And it led to a touchdown.
It surely did. And I just the thing I kept hearing over and over again was, well, the Giants had the 2 muff punts. I mean, they just handed the game to the Seahawks.
Take away those muff punts, Adam, and this is a different game.
All right, well, let's play who made mistake. Like, did the Seahawks not gift them the ball on the 2-yard line for an easy touchdown?
Well, that was just a great play by the Giants. You can't you can't put that on Tyler. I mean,
yeah. Did the Seahawks not leave 4 points in the ether because Tyler couldn't catch a beautifully thrown ball from Geno. Like, they made just as many big mistakes as the Giants did. They just kicked their ass up and down the field defensively and then actually moved the ball fairly effectively on offense, especially in the second half. One team dominated this game. The other one showed up. They just were there on Lumen Field. And I couldn't believe what I kept hearing over and over again on the radio as I was continuing to drive after that game. I don't get it. Like, who looks at this Giant team and is like, yeah, man, the team that can, put together 56 yards in one half of football, they're good. They're legit. Look out.
I think some of that has to be that East Coast mentality of we hate Philly and we need a team that's better than them. And so the Giants, well, and we also hate Dallas because everybody does. And so the Giants have to be the heroes in that division to take down, because Philly fans are terrible. Giants fans are cool. Cowboys fans are terrible. So yeah, I think I want the Giants to be the best team out of that division. And so that must bleed into it as we want the Giants to be successful. We have to make excuses for them. They have to be the team that comes out of this division to save us from Eagles fans and Cowboys fans.
Yeah. And a Commanders team that's owned by a walking dirtbag. So
right. I didn't even need to bring that up.
No, you do. Every time you talk about that division, you need to talk about the Commanders and that they're owned by a walking dirtbag. That's the only way he will ever go away.
We'll see for how long. I feel like there is a little momentum there, but again, maybe a topic for later in the show or another day.
Yeah. Well, I'm not mad at Giants fans. I didn't have anybody talk any crap to me. And then on top of that, all the little flockers chimed in, started with Amy Holmes saying, be kind to the Giants fans because they were cool this week. They were actually cool. So, big tip of the cap to Giants fans, man. I'm just talking about the media that is insufferable, but the fans, good fans.
Yeah. We even had some fans in the live post-game reaction that came in and were cool too. So Giants fans are cool. We went to a game out there and the dudes around us were all awesome. So yeah. And gals. Yeah. It was just it was a fun time. So, but this game, it was a fun time too. And part of the reason was it felt dominant, apart from some of the mistakes, but a lot of those mistakes, they were all from Tyler Lockett, which was not all of them, but a good portion of them, which was such a bummer because he had the fumble that led to 7. He had the ball go off his face mask that would have been a sure touchdown. Were you not already celebrating that touchdown when the ball was in the air going to Tyler? Like before it got to him, like I was already up off my couch. And then he also had one in the end zone where he caught it, but his tips of his toes were just out of bounds.
Yeah.
And Tyler almost always comes down with those. And obviously dealing with an injury. Pete said it was Thursday in practice where he had an injury that it made it a game time decision on whether or not he'd go. And you could see that had an impact on him.
Yeah, it did have an impact on him. Now, he's had some kind of turnover problems here this year. That needs to get cleaned up. Tyler's had some big fumbles. And yeah, it's I'm sick of seeing that. I'm sick of seeing how is it that our team is the one that gets the lucky punt against them that pins them on the 2-yard line.
Oh,
because they don't deal with that situation well. I mean, we saw the safety a couple games ago against Ken Walker, and then obviously the Tyler fumble in this game. None of that anymore, please. I could go the rest of the season without that.
Right. But special teams, it wasn't an issue in terms of the Seahawks. No, it was what helped propel the Seahawks to a win because you had Will Dissly, special teams player of the week, knocking out recovering fumbles. And that's, ultimately what put the dagger in the Giants in this game was 2 punt returns fumbled and Seahawks able to make some points off of that.
Yeah. Travis Homer, his impact coming back, it was felt. You heard Pete talk about it in his presser and it was significant. Now, Uncle Will better be freaking careful or he's going to be playing teams for the rest of the year.
Is that a bad thing? Like, I know Pete recognized him as a starter that needed to come in for this particular game, but maybe we want him on special teams a lot.
No.
Why? He's not that impactful of a starter that you would say, we really need Will. Well, I mean,
13 personnel is not 13 personnel without Will Dissly.
It's a good point. But if you can impact the game in that way consistently, I'd rather have that impact. I think
you'd rather have that impact than having
I want both. I'm saying I want both rather than just one.
Okay, cool. Well, you push things too far and all of a sudden you get none.
All right.
It's not like Dissly has been invincible on the field. Look, I'm just fine having Nick Bellore come back and be that guy.
You might have a point, but I want awesome special teams versus not good special teams.
I'll take average. I will take average, no big mistakes special teams and be just as happy for it, because that's honestly been probably the biggest Seahawks bugaboo the last 3 weeks of all the units, which is kind of crazy because Brandon, how about the defense? Do you believe? Are you buying one of Gino's t-shirts?
I have to be buying the t-shirts for every guy on defense right now because it has to be legit. I know we talked about the concept of, do you take out Daniel Jones and the value add that he has in the run game, or do you just focus on stopping Barkley because he's that significant of a running back? And if you stop that, you can deal with anything else that comes along with providing too much of a focus on Barkley. They stopped both. They did both.
I do think one is a function of the other, right? So I think by stopping Daniel Jones early, and you saw they were going to try to beat you with Daniel Jones right out of the gate, right?
Right. Yeah.
Barkley didn't get an official carry for almost a quarter and a half, something like that. But with that said, if you stop Daniel Jones and keep him from getting those little backbreaker naked boots and things like that, picking up that 3rd and 7 on the regular, keeping the chains moving, which then gives Saquon more touches, which then gets him in a rhythm, which then wears down the defense. Now you got a problem, right? So I think they did the right thing. They made sure that Daniel Jones looked as pedestrian as a player from Duke should. And is it Duke? Is that where he came out of?
He came out. Yeah, he came out of Duke. You're right.
Okay. Yeah. He looked like a Duke football player out on the field. That is for sure.
A Dookie?
Yeah. The Dookie Blue Devils. Yeah. But I listened to the game first, right? Because I was driving back, which, by the way, I haven't done that in a long ass time. More stressful than watching it because you're having to wait for Wyman and Rabes to figure out exactly what it is that's going on and then, put it together beautifully as they do and then relay it to you. That was stressful. And I did not enjoy the game nearly as much listening to it as I did watching it because it just appeared a lot different than the way that I heard it from them.
Sure.
But Wyman, man, he was busting Jones's ass the entire broadcast. But I can't believe this guy ran for 100+ yards last week. This guy, he can't run at all. He probably can't even run out of his own shadow. Who let him run for 107 yards? He torched him multiple times throughout the broadcast. It was hilarious.
Okay, well, on that then, while we're crediting the Seahawks for stopping Jones, a big part of that, because the one time that he tried to escape from the pocket early, it was on the second drive of the game, and the guy who was there to stop him, it was Cody Barton, finding Jones in the hole and making sure that he didn't get up the middle of the field.
Yeah, he did. He had a couple plays, and it's about freaking time.
We've been dogging him. I just thought it was good to recognize Cody Barton in this game. He had some plays. I thought that the mixture, I think he had, in terms of snap percentage in this game, it was much lower than what we've seen over the past few weeks. Cody Barton finished with about 50% of the defensive snaps. So just on the field 33 times. I think that's a good mix.
Sure, especially if it means more of the star of Seattle's defense this last weekend, Ryan Neal.
Yeah.
Ryan Neal played a massive football game. He was all over the place. His tackling is awesome. His awareness is awesome. His just basic persona is awesome. I love Ryan Neal. I hope he plays much more. I hope he never goes down with a cramp again and scares me like that. I love it. Ryan Neal is a freaking baller, dude. That's it. Period. End of statement. Like, there's nothing else to say. Baller.
6 tackles on the day, 4 defensive stops. Let's see. He was targeted only 3 times for 13 yards. And one of those was because he got 11 yards. The receiver got 11 yards after the catch. So only giving up 2 yards after the catch, or 2 yards apart from that one play. Playing down in the box.
Blew up that one screen to Saquon where he kind of just tripped him up, like got around the blocker and just tripped him up. That would have gone big. Big props to Ryan Neal.
We saw him doing that. We saw Michael Jackson blowing up guys on the outside on those dump off plays to where he would just beeline and lay them out. I like Jackson in that position in particular, like not necessarily running stride for stride with dudes downfield, but when they'll dump it off to a guy and he can just lay into him, he's really good.
You're going to love week 9.
Yeah, we could see some of that with one receiver in particular.
Oh, well, not just
maybe
one
even 2. Kyler just loves to throw short passes and rely on yards after the catch. Exactly.
But Mike Jackson's tackling was outstanding. It was outstanding. That was LOB-esque. It really was.
While we're recognizing the stars of the defense, how about Uchenna Nwosu? 2 sacks on the day, 6 stops, just an overall disruptive day by Nwosu, and covering Saquon down the sideline too.
That was the one.
Yeah.
Because you talk about the 2 sacks and they were a little garbage timey, which is okay. I don't, that doesn't mean he didn't do it, but right. It was that coverage of Saquon down the sideline that I was like, holy smokes, he's playing a whale of a game. Nwosu's a revelation. Is he still leading the league in pressures at this point, or pressure percentage, or whatever it is?
It wouldn't shock me based on, I can't see it going down based off what he did against the Giants.
It's really impressive. He's a big time difference maker. That whole defensive front is locked in. They've got it figured out. They've got the rotation figured out. They've learned how to play together. And then let us not forget Jordan Brooks and the job he did in the run game this last week, especially that one tackle on Saquon. And you know which one I'm talking about.
Yep. It's the one where he's bouncing it out to the right side and Saquon is looking like he's trying to put the moves on Brooks and maybe cut it inside, maybe bounce out farther. Brooks just sticks with him, plants his shoulder right into him and takes him down. It was a beautiful tackle by Brooks.
It was a beautiful play. That was, again, Wagner-esque. Like, that felt like a Bobby play right there.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't be denied. Wasn't going to be faked out of his shoes. They were very disciplined on defense throughout the entire game. Give Clint Hurt and his staff, Sean Desai, all those guys, a ton of credit. They really are playing together. They beat a very different offense this week than they had the prior 2. Completely different style, and they managed to adapt and dominate. And if that's not a mark of a great defense, maybe not great, but a very good one, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, I feel like a lot like with our conversation with Geno Smith, we need to keep saying things that we need to see from the Seahawks defense because they keep answering all of the questions that we're bringing up. Like with Geno, we're like, oh, well, we haven't really seen this from him yet. And then he goes out and does it.
Well, we haven't really seen a shutout. So
we haven't really seen a shutout. We haven't seen him beat a division rival twice in a row this season either.
Got to show me.
Got to do it. How about Geno, though? Geno Smith on the day. Another good day for him. What stood out to you in terms of how the Giants approached the Seahawks offense in this game?
I think the crazy part is that they were as effective against the run as they were. Now, this was probably the biggest contrast in terms of listening to it as opposed to watching it. Listening to Rabes call it, every one of those 3-yard little runs that were close, every time he'd be like, Ken Walker takes a snap. He's got 2. Oh, Ken Walker gets the ball and he's down for 3. And it was just like the way that it was talked about on the radio broadcast. I thought that there was like literally nothing there. And he was just like burrowing for that 1 or 2, 3 yards. And that was it.
Yeah.
But upon watching it, holy cow, there's at least 6 runs where you're like, ooh, there was 15 there. Ooh, there was 12 there. But Leonard Williams happened to have a whale of a game and could reach out and just get one paw on Ken and just the right way to bring him down, which we haven't seen before for Ken Walker. So I felt like that run game was so much closer to really breaking it and getting rolling than it sounded like when I listened to it on the radio.
It also felt like to me that they would run the ball on first down a lot when the Giants were really stacking the box. And I know that in the past few games when Walker's done that, a lot of times we'll see them make enough of a hole to where then he'll really break one, right? To where it's 18 yards or he gets through the line and he's gone. And it really was because that they were able to bottle him up just well enough. But I thought that they were running the football generally when it wasn't at their advantage in terms of what the defense was showing them. I would have liked to see the Seahawks run the ball more on second down, but they weren't doing that either. They were, the Giants'
They're
defense
often in second and long.
Well,
and a lot of that too, and this is a do better on me because I had it written down in my notes, meant to talk about it on the flagship show, meant to talk about this on Prop Stars. I forgot to mention the entire time that the defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale of the New York Giants, former Ravens defensive coordinator, is the highest blitzing defensive coordinator in the whole league at 38%. And they blitzed the catfish out of the Seahawks in this game. And often a lot of those runs ended up going in the teeth of the blitz. Most of the struggles they had in the passing game was, and usually you're picking up one dude, maybe two in a blitz package, right? Max.
Right.
And there were times they'd pick up 5-6 guys. Oh, there's another free dude. They just would have a hard time identifying where they're coming from and how many guys are coming. Wink Martindale was super aggressive, especially early in this game. And I think that has a little bit to do with what you were saying, maybe.
A little bit. We heard from Geno after the game talk about how he hadn't seen as much zero coverage against any team as he had against the Giants. They blitzed 18 out of his 41 dropbacks and not blitzed 16. So over half the time they were sending extra dudes at Geno, and really Geno handled it well. Even when they blitzed him, he had a passer rating of 71, which, I mean, that's not terrible. I mean, contrast that with a guy like Kyler Murray, who, when you blitz him, has a quarterback rating of 30. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a big difference. And Geno, he completed 11 out of his 18 attempts while being blitzed. His yards per attempt went down, obviously, but that's because you're doing the little short dump off throws.
Absolutely. I thought Geno handled it fairly well. I think probably my biggest takeaway from Geno in this game was leadership. I keep thinking back to the beginning of the year, talking to Bronco Jared and him being like, oh, well, you lost Russ. And you lost Bobby. You're going to be a team without leadership. You're screwed. We have all the leadership now. Okay, then. Because we have stability at coaching, we have leadership. And then we also have guys that are able to step up into that role. And Geno is doing it beautifully. And I think after this game, you said this is more like the loser's not legit. And I wanted to be like, the winner is legit. Yeah. I think the Seahawks are legit. And I think that there's a couple things that point to that. And it has not a lot to do. I mean, the results are on the field, but the reasons are off the field. And you see Geno in the way he goes over and gets with Tyler after his no good, bad beginning of his day and picks him up and then goes right back to him for the big touchdown late in the game. You see him, DK, and Tyler go up and do a presser together.
Right.
This right here is the evidence that this team is legit. It's that presser. Watch it. If you don't see three dudes who are completely on the same page, who are ready to share in the combined glory that they're all getting to soak in here a little bit, watch Geno throughout that presser. You know how much he talks for about the first half of it? About 4 words. He just sits back there and smiles or has a little, back and forth with the other guy who's not speaking, just, kind of a little joke here on the side. This team is together. This team has leadership. These guys are playing for one another. They can't care. It's hard to get a group of professionals together and have them really genuinely buy in and care. This team is legit. Watch Pete's presser after that game. What is he doing? Well, you guys got it all fixed on defense and this, that, the other thing. Well, yeah, the players, they really took ownership, and the players got after it, and the players this, and the players that. This guy, a bunch of credit. That guy, a bunch of credit. He's not putting himself right in front of the spotlight and owning all of it.
Right.
This team is a real team. I think that was my biggest takeaway after the game.
Oh, and it's so much fun seeing it that way too. And when I talked about the team that wins this game not being considered for real, I wasn't talking about me. I was more considering the national perspective of neither of these teams, I don't think, get that kind of national respect. And maybe the Giants are to that point to where if they had won, then everybody would be talking about how legit they are just because they'd only have one loss. I like the amount of importance that Pete put into this game in terms of seeing what they could prove. I saw Pete Carroll have a level of respect for the Giants team, one because the way they ran the ball with Saquon. And I think that played into the early decision to go for it on those 2 4th downs. And, it's moments like that helped propel them to a win. And yeah, if you take away all the turnovers in this game, obviously it makes it a different game, but it was an impressive performance. But it was an impressive performance too. Not just for the special teams units getting the turnovers. We haven't given credit to Jason Myers yet for making all his kicks in this game.
I have more on Jason Myers at the end of the show. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I think that you talked a little bit about Pete having a lot of respect for the Giants and the way he treated this game and everything. And I'm glad he did, because I think they're a fraud this year as terms of a 6-1 team or whatever it was when they were coming in. Right.
Yeah.
But they are definitely on the right track. They're 2 years away from having a really good team. They have the right coach. They have the right running back. I think they have the right D coordinator. I think they've got some pieces on that defensive line. They're a couple years away, a couple good drafts away, but they're on the right track. There's no doubt about it. Dayball's doing a hell of a job. You can't take that away from him.
If you're them.
No, I know exactly what you're going to say. No.
Do you re-sign Daniel Jones or do you start over?
Nope. Absolutely not.
Right.
No. Cause
that's the mistake that they could make though. They could say, well, look what we did this year. We got to the playoffs with Daniel Jones as our quarterback. We can't lose that continuity at that spot. We have to sign him to an extension. And it's a move like that could, they're
not going to make the playoffs this year.
It's at 6-2. You don't think the Giants are going to make the playoffs?
The Giants are not going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
They're just not a good team. They're the Arizona Cards team from a couple years ago that had the hot start and then collapsed. Oh, well, yeah. From last year, the year before that, the year before that. Right. Yeah. But I mean, not like this year, because they didn't even have the hot start. They're just starting to collapse already. So
yeah, they could collapse. I guess Green Bay could go on one of their usual late season runs and be that team that edges them out of the playoffs.
Philly, Dallas, Vikings, Seahawks, Rams.
Rams aren't making the playoffs.
Or Niners, I'm sorry.
Niners, yeah. And then whoever comes out of the South.
Right.
Which could be the Bucks, could
be the
Falcons.
How many teams get in from each side this year now? Because it's always changing.
Yeah, you get seven. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think the Giants are on the outside looking in.
I could see that.
Because I could see the Falcons finishing with a better record than the Giants.
Right. But I think that there's only going to be one team that gets in from the South, and it's going to be the one that wins the division. And so you're going to be,
I don't know. You could end up with Well, okay.
If there's going to be a division with 3 teams, it's going to be the East with the Cowboys and the Eagles and the Giants. I don't think there's any other division that has 3 good teams.
No, you're correct on that. I think it's going to be, they might eke in, I guess, but it's going to be tough, man.
That's what I mean. It's going to take a surge from either the Packers or I think that's the team. It would have to be Packers making a late season run.
Well, I just think Dallas overtakes them.
Oh,
and
yeah. I agree with you that they're the 3rd best team in that division.
Right. But they're on the right track, man. They keep their heads down and get after it this next offseason. Do not re-sign Daniel Jones. Good Lord. If anything taught you from this game, if you're the Giants GM, who I'm not sure who it is anymore, basically you see a guy in Geno Smith where you're like, those guys are out there. Yeah. Why would I pay this other guy who, with a great offensive coach in Dable, can't do anything other than an RPO?
You can find somebody to hand off the football and make some throws and just be that, not be Geno, but to be light, the game manager type player.
Tell me, this is a legit question.
Okay.
Tell me what you think. The Giants this year, would they be better with Daniel Jones or would they be better with Gardner Minshew?
Oh yeah. I like Minshew. I know Tannehill's not having a great year, but Tannehill can give you more out of that quarterback spot than Jones can at this point. Yeah, he can.
Maybe a little. Maybe a little. You like Tannehill a lot more than I do, but
Tannehill is the average game manager type quarterback for me.
Okay, see, he's just a titch below for me.
Okay.
Who would I anoint the average game manager quarterback?
Jimmy G,
Jimmy G, Mac Jones, Matt Ryan was that guy forever.
Right.
Andy Dalton, I think is every bit as good as Tannehill, if not better.
Probably not too much difference. Not a difference worth arguing about anyway. But with Daniel Jones, all the evidence that I needed from the Giants to not re-sign Daniel Jones, and this is no slight against Shelby Harris, but Jones got ran down from behind by Shelby Harris as he was trying to run for a first down. And Harris with the big 3rd down stop gets him short of the sticks, got the whole team fired up. That was a fun play. And yeah, if you're a quarterback, you got to make that play.
Absolutely. You got to get around Shelby there. But hey, hats off to him in the effort that he showed there. You heard Hurt in his press conference from yesterday really glow up that play. It's like, we probably already showed it a dozen times. Probably showed a dozen more, because if your big guys are running that way, there's not one other dude on the field that has an excuse. You just don't.
Not at all. We got Keone, a longtime member at getintheflock.com, sent a note in, says, wow, guys, what a year so far, and what our Hawks have done, and all the amazing content the whole team has provided. Big thank you, and keep it going. Some thoughts. Geno, he does not mess around and hold the ball like Russ did. He gets that ball out of his hands so fast going through his progressions. I really believe this is why he had the success he's had. Too many times I felt like Russ just held onto the ball too long, waiting for stuff to further develop downfield. This is also a reason why the rookie tackles are looking great. DK, great last game, but I still need to see him make some big catches to go to that next level and what we believe he can be. Defense really starting to come together, believe and trust in each other. It's so nice to see that they're starting to settle in and understand and trust what each person is doing. And finally, rookies. Wow. Across the board, all the rookies from offense to defense and making me so happy about the future. John is looking like a genius we all knew he is, and I can't wait to see how this all continues to develop.
Keone, there's a lot to be excited about. You're not wrong, man. Now, on the DK thing, just for this week specifically, although I agree with his overall point, this week, the fact that he was on the field.
Yeah.
Now that right there, that was almost my better at life this week, just because, and maybe it should have been, because that was amazing. We all thought that we all thought that he had to poop. Then we all thought that he might be out for the season. Then we all thought he might be out for like 4 weeks. And then we all thought that, maybe he could play. And then he goes out there and actually looks pretty decent. That was remarkable.
Had the touchdown catch in the back of the end zone. He had one of the fans. We saw this circulating out on Twitter. They caught video of the Ken Walker run. Yeah. And one of the things that you saw in that play from that angle is you saw how DK was faking out the defender, looking over his shoulder for an imaginary football as the corner was running him down, crapping his pants on the field, thinking that it was a touchdown pass to DK. Meanwhile, Ken Walker's blowing through dudes and scoring right behind him. And so DK completely took out the corner by that fake that he put on that Giants defender.
Yeah. I can't ever recall seeing a guy do that.
I don't think the cameras pick it up generally.
Yeah, it may happen all the time. I'm just saying that for me personally, I don't know that I've ever noticed that.
I know I haven't. We've been doing this show for a while. I figure out we probably call out things like that if we see it.
Right. No, it's another little marker of everybody trying to do every little thing for the guy next to him, right?
And how about that Ken Walker run? Like, okay, now that's one where if you listen to it on the radio, I don't have the Rabel call on that one. I looked for it. I probably should have gone back and listened to the whole radio broadcast just to try and track it down. But watching that play, I'm curious if it translated in terms of the radio call.
Well, I mean, you're acting as if Steve Rabel doesn't know when to get excited about an awesome power run. Like there's maybe no broadcaster made better for that moment. Rabes had a great call. I think there was a holy smokes in there when it was all said and done.
Well, because it looked like Walker was probably going to go down after maybe 2 or 3 yards after bouncing it outside as he's losing his balance. And a Giants defender is right there in his grill about to take him down. And somehow he magically regains his balance, blows through the guy and into the end zone.
Yeah, it was impressive, man. So that makes me ask the question I had for you before I came into the Hobo Shack today.
Yeah.
After that game, are you a little concerned about Ken and who he is and all that? Or are you good with it? Like, how did you feel after that?
What do you mean concerned? Why would you?
Like, is he not as amazing as we were all excited about early on? Or
no, I'm just as excited as I was before this game. That didn't change anything.
All right. I was just checking because me too. Yeah, I'm right with you.
I mean, if you were just a person who looked at the stat sheet and saw that he only had 51 yards rushing, like maybe you would get discouraged because, say, you had a bet going into the game that he'd get 19 carries and thought he was going to run for 100 yards, and he only had 18 carries for 71 or 18 carries for 51.
Only fools would bet on that. Only fools would bet on that.
Yeah. So
yeah. And if they did, they probably would lose that week to somebody else's bets.
So, yeah,
if you're not listening to Prop Stars, you're doing it wrong because I'm learning the gambling as we go. So you get to learn it, too, because it's all a little confusing. But the fun part is that it all leads into discussions about actual football. Like it's not like just rooted in gambling in terms of it's all gambling talk. It's more like, well, OK, Vegas is saying this. Well, but I don't think so because of that. You give like a football reason. So there's a lot of great discussions being done on there for sure.
No, it's not your normal picks show, especially from that perspective. So, yeah, I get a kick out of it, too. And you know me, I'm usually not placing the bets. So
I've never done this before, dude. I've never done this.
And somehow you're now an expert at it after 5 weeks. Like I know, right. I know why you're having fun with this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just, pick winners. That's all. And also, too, if you want to make some money, just tune in and listen to me. I barely miss him,
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for you over these last few weeks. So Jake and Tukwila, he's coming in, says, hi, guys. I've had to eat a murder of crows in the Ring of Honor Facebook group for seriously and rather publicly doubting Geno and for rooting for a 3-win season, given we obviously had no chance at the playoffs. And I can't imagine I'm alone in my hilariously bad take. The Chargers win was pivotal in proving this team can actually play well enough to compete for the division and had something to build on next year. But this resounding Giants win hints that the Hawks may have the talent and grit to make a run right now. I also think the time to sign Geno is now, before the rest of the league irons out their own quarterback woes. As you raised in the live post-game show, Gino may not be as willing to, quote unquote, bet on himself as a younger, less experienced guy may be in the face of $40 to $50 million guaranteed. He's seen all of the uncontrolled outside factors, not to mention injuries, that can impact performance. Both Gino and the team have a lot to lose by waiting to get this done, and the price is going up every week he plays at this level. Frankly, I'd rather not let this wait until the bye. After Gino has his way with the Cardinals and proves himself against a decent Tampa Bay defense, I'm not saying we should give the guy a 6-year deal, but an incentive-driven 3 years, 75 to 95 million with 40 to 50 guaranteed. You bet. What do you think? From Jake.
Jake, look, having the take of, we're maybe 3 wins, Gino's going to stink and all that. Like, I told you guys like on almost every episode leading up to this season, you could tell me that story and I'd believe you. And then Jason Turner, like he's a big believer, right? In the Ring of Honor. Just like we're winning, 12, Tim Moon, we're winning 12 games. We're going to the Super Bowl, like all that. Like I'd almost believe you there. So while having to eat a bit of crow, Jake, don't worry about it too much because anybody could have been just as wrong about this season as the next guy. So I wouldn't feel too bad about it. As far as the re-sign of Gino, like now, I don't think Gino does that right now. I don't think he does it mid-season. That's just another distraction. And not only that, but he only makes more money week by week. Like that's what's happening. So I don't think he's going to sign that deal early, but I'd go up to, in terms of years, I'd go up to 4 years for Gino.
Once you usually get to 4, those are the non-guaranteed years anyway, and you get to spread out the signing bonus then over 4 years versus 3. So yeah, you're not losing anything necessarily by going to 4. It only benefits you in terms of the amount of time you can spread out the signing bonus. So yeah, if you're going to re-sign Gino, you go 4. And in terms of the amount of guaranteed, that's probably right on the money. Maybe you're looking at an average per year of probably upwards of 35, just because as a proven starter, that's what dudes who are proven starters get, is at least 35 million a year. So yeah, it's right in that range. Now you could take me down the path of, hey, this team won a Super Bowl when they had a quarterback who was on his rookie deal, and maybe that's the direction that you need to go. And if you can get this kind of performance out of Gino, what's to say that you can't out of a rookie quarterback in a year or two? You could persuade me in that direction too. So, but
lottery tickets.
I understand. And I just need to put that out there because that way, that's what you tell Gino when you're making those contract negotiations, right?
Well, obviously that is part of their leverage, right? Being like, well, we've got the Broncos' future in our hands, so we get to use that. And if you don't want to play ball, I guess that's fine. You can go try and play for the Saints next year. They might offer you a deal. Go ahead, go down there, see how it is. I just don't know how much of a risk he would want to take in terms of, I've had my success here. I found my guys here. I have my role here. I have my coach here. I just think you would want to roll with that for a couple of years, especially if you're getting a pretty decent bag, right, one way or the other.
It feels like a hometown discount situation is what you're saying.
I think 35 to 40 a year is a hometown discount.
Right.
Because if you think about that, the top guys are getting 50 plus. And so, yeah, you're getting top 10 level quarterback play out of mid-tier or upper mid-tier money. That actually leaves you wiggle room still, plus all the draft picks, plus all the draft guys or guys drafted from this year who are on that rookie deal. Like you're just the Seahawks are in the catbird seat for the next couple years. And it's exciting, man. This is exciting.
Well, Jake, while you're trying to choke down that murder of crows being wrong about Gino, you got to murder your thirst with a nice can of liquid death, because that's really the best thing that probably goes with a murder of crows, right? There you go.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. I just cracked one open right here. Now, I didn't just eat a murder of crows, but I am thirsty after expelling all that praise about the Seahawks. Let me see if this murders that. Oh man, there was a massacre in my throat right there. That thirst be gone.
I'm trying to recognize, just based purely on the color of the can, is that the sparkling water, or is that just the pure water?
This is straight up liquid gold right here. Clear liquid gold, just regular water, man. I'm a big water drinker, just in terms of just straight water. Man, when you get it in a 16-ounce can like this, ice cold, if you drink this and you're like, it's just water, you don't even have taste in your mouth.
Look, we're from Montana. We know what clean water tastes like. You know, Adam could just walk over to the nearest stream and probably get his water from there. But no,
I do.
This well, you do when you're not drinking your liquid death out of a can.
That's right.
And if you want to get your own liquid death, go get it at your local Albertsons, Fred Meyer, Target, or Chevron Extra Mile, or find liquid death at a retailer near you with their store locator tool at liquiddeath.com/Hawkra. That's liquiddeath.com/Hawkra, HAWKRA. And yeah, let us know. Let us know that you used that tool and where you ended up getting your cans of liquid death. I've seen a couple tweets about it. And if you tag us, tag Liquid Death, it lets them know that you're hearing about it through this show. And that's what helps us out.
Yeah, helps out our deal, man.
All right. Well, as we're celebrating this victory over the New York Giants, we once again are back in this area where we're taking on an Arizona Cardinals rival. I feel like we just faced this team. It was just 3 short weeks ago, and here we are again, although now it's maybe kind of a different team than we saw just a few weeks ago.
There are some differences, for sure, namely at the wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm.
They get D-Hop back, which is their entire offense, so congratulations on that. And then they brought in, I don't know, some dude from the Panthers that people seem to be excited about. He looks like a giraffe running down the field. Robbie Anderson. That's right. That's his name. People talk about him like he's a guy. Give me a break.
Well, he's better than AJ Green at this point in his career.
Are we sure?
I mean, not sure, but I feel like AJ Green is washed, because if you told me that he played in that game against the Seahawks, I could probably maybe pick out one catch of his for like 4 yards. But I can't think of any other AJ Green plays.
Okay, well, if AJ Green is washed, then Robbie Anderson never had it to begin with. He's just not. He's not a great player. But that's who they tried to bring in to help rescue this craptastic Arizona Cardinals season, the one that is the beginning of the end of the Kingsbury era. Unfortunately, look, I'm so confident about this game, it's ridiculous. But I'll put out my one caveat that I am genuinely afraid of. Seahawks are riding high, 3 games in a row. Everybody's stoked. We're legit. Media's starting to pick it up maybe a little bit, even though some aren't. Man, we got the Bucks coming up after this in Germany. This feels trappy. This feels just a little trappy.
It does. It feels like, and not only that, I thought you were going to mention the haunted burial ground of Arizona as a potential aspect of this game that can just not be, you can't gloss over it.
I was trying to forget about it, but thanks. Yeah. I didn't want to think about the bad juju voodoo that is there in that craptastic stadium. Gosh dang it. Yeah.
It needs to be a reminder to people that now I know that there were some questions, Adam, from members of the flock that say, hey, if you're this good at creating curses like the Let's Ride curse, how are you with undoing curses? Because it kind of feels like there's a curse on the Seahawks whenever we go to Arizona.
It's a good point. The thing is that I'm just starting to scratch the surface of my wizardry. So I don't know the full extent of my powers and what I may or may not be capable of. So I'm not sure about a curse undoing that, because I have a little bit more spite in my heart than forgiveness for most of the football world.
Yeah, you're saying it might not be in you. Like you may not have that kind of superpower. Like you can deliver curses, but not take them back.
Not undo them. That's how it feels in my gut. But so I'm a little concerned based on that level for this Cardinals game. But I'm looking at this purely on a football level, just as it should go. This should be a blowout.
It should be. I don't know if it'll be blowout level just because it's 2 teams that are familiar with each other. You know, going into the last game against the Cardinals, we thought that it should also be a blowout. But now they have DeAndre Hopkins back at wide receiver. And like you said, that's their whole offense. Kyler Murray throwing it up to D-Hop, and you can put extra guys there.
Don't need to.
It doesn't have an impact because he'll go up and catch the ball when it's just balls that shouldn't be thrown his way.
So he's been targeted something like 22 times in the last 2 games, D-Hop, since he's come back. Where does he usually work? Where does D-Hop usually line up?
On the outside and running down the sideline.
Yeah, especially on the offensive left-hand side, the defense's right-hand side.
Generally right across where Tariq Woolen's been playing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna love this matchup right here. D-Hop against Reek the Freak. Like, I hope they test him 11 times in this game. Please do. Because when they do, they're going to do what they always do, which is run little hitches, slants, 5 to 10 yard outs. And then that one just, D-Hop down there somewhere and just throw it up. Pull that crap on Reek up to 11 times. And you're going to have probably 2 picks, maybe a pick 6. I love this matchup. I'm super excited about it. You don't have to commit extra guys to D-Hop because you have one of the true special physical talents in this league that could actually match up with a D-Hop. It's all very simple too. Like, these DBs get to do what they do best, which is play over the top, play downhill, because 60% of Kyler Murray's throws from this last game, and this is indicative of his entire career, are 10 yards or less.
Yeah.
That's all he does.
Now, one guy that we didn't necessarily see that much in the previous matchup was Rondale Moore, and he had a pretty explosive game against the Vikings this past week, to where you throw it underneath and he's able to pick up quite a few yards after the catch if you're not able to hang with a shifty guy that he can be and kind of a speedy guy he can be. So that ends up being a little bit more of a concern because, again, having D-Hop back, it makes it so maybe some of these other guys can get their opportunities a little more often, a little more easier. I still don't think we're going to see anything from the run game. I know James Conner, is he
questionable?
He's questionable to come back, but
you could put Barry Sanders in that crappy Kingsbury offense and he still couldn't generate much in the run game.
Yeah, I think that they'll be able to shut down the run game regardless of whether it's Conner or Benjamin coming back. Obviously, you got to be concerned with Murray getting out of the pocket and picking up big plays that way. He's clearly faster than Daniel Jones. I don't think we'll see him getting run down from behind by Shelby Harris too much.
That's the only weapon they have in their offense that is going to make it so that they move the sticks at all. It's Kyler's legs. I'm not sure that the Seahawks could have played Kyler much better than they did 2 weeks ago. They did that muddle rush thing really well. They took away what they could for the most part on their route to scoring a whopping 9 points. This team is bad, and this team is falling apart at the seams. I just look at the body language and just how this season has gone. It's the exact opposite of the total buy-in that you're seeing in Seattle. This is a team that is literally ripping apart at the seams. It all built around a pouty crybaby shit catfish quarterback that it's just not good, man. It's all coming unraveled. And then I think about this matchup in terms of Arizona's defense against the Seattle offense. And look, the Cardinals had their best game of the season defensively on the defensive line. They will not repeat that. They will not repeat that. There is no way.
That's the hope, right?
It's not happening.
Okay. Because that was a concern of mine that I was going to mention. Now, do they take the same approach defensively against the Seahawks as they did last time, or do they change things up? Because it felt as though they were doing their best to take away DK and Tyler in that previous game. It allowed Ken Walker to tear it up. It allowed the tight ends to have good games, and the Seahawks were content with taking that. Does the Cardinals defense change it up and maybe focus more on stopping Ken Walker in the run game?
And then you're going to get tore up over the top. That's the thing about this offense is they have an answer for everything, and they have the talent to answer on everything. So go ahead. Yeah. Load up against Ken Walker. Go for it. Please do. Please do. MVP is going to rip your ass a new one. Oh, okay. You're going to go ahead and play a bunch of, 8-man zones and things like that, make it tough. They just drop into coverage every play. Great. Get ready for the Ken Walker show. Like, good luck. This Cards team is going to be helpless defensively against the Seahawks. And then you think about it too, like Budda Baker's injured. That defensive secondary is not good to begin with.
I know. I feel like we talked a bunch of junk about Byron Murphy, but then he went out and they, effectively shut down DK and Tyler. So
yeah, with help. Congratulations. Yeah, good job. I just have zero respect for this team. They're a bad football team. And then on their offensive side of the ball, their offensive line is all sorts of banged up. I mean, they may get Humphreys back for this game. They may get Garcia back from this game. Hudson's still out.
Right.
And this defensive line for the Seahawks has figured it out. They're playing on a string. They've got their assignments figured. Like, this is going to be a very bad day for the Cardinals.
I hope so. I know you've talked a lot of junk. It's been backed up by our team in the past. And I'm counting on them to come through for you once again.
Look, man, I've been saying these things all year, whether it was the Russ trade, whether it was, go down the list, right, of all the different stuff that I have said throughout the course of this season. And then it all seems to work out that way. Or is it coincidence? Or does maybe, just maybe, the league is the way that it is and it's fairly easy to see? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. The most fun thing that I'm enjoying about this offense is that they do have an answer for what teams are trying to do defensively. We've seen defenses try and take away certain things on the Seahawks offense all season. And the way that Geno's playing quarterback, he's been able to have an answer for that. The way that Ken Walker's running the football, but they've been able to answer it doing that way too. And I think it's a little more fun when it's Walker getting a 150 plus yard game. But if not, blitz Geno and give him man-to-man shots at Tyler Lockett down the field and see how that works out. According to the Giants, they're going to tell you it doesn't.
It's a true fact. Just pick your poison because it's coming for you. It's literally the exact opposite of a Cards offense that is so unbelievably one-dimensional. It's the yin to the Giants yang of one-dimensional offense.
There's one thing I will say about the Cardinals, in praise, maybe, I guess. Watching that Vikings game, I, as a Vikings fan in that particular moment, it was so frustrating watching Kyler make a mistake, go over to the sidelines and pout for a while, but then come back and somehow be able to respond and keep the Cardinals in that game throughout the distance of that matchup against the Vikings.
Who is the Vikings right corner? 3. Is it
Peterson?
Densler? No.
Dantzler. Yeah. Cam Dantzler.
Yeah, they targeted the holy crap out of that poor bastard. Like they just went after him over and over and over and over again. Yeah. Thing is that they don't have that matchup this week. They just don't. So maybe they'll pick on Kobe.
Yeah, that could be, but I think that it depends on the matchups they're trying to get him. Like if you put D-Hop into the slot and try and pick on Kobe throughout that would be the one. If I were the Cardinals offense trying to game plan against the Seahawks, that's what I would do. I would put D-Hop into the slot and try and go after Kobe all day.
And they're going to do it a few times, but they're not going to just make that the well. Like they're just so stubborn about this college offense. Again, it's just another rinky-dink. You even heard Pete in his presser. This was fun. So they asked him about Kingsbury's offense, and he's like, yeah, like they see him when they drop back, like they've got an answer to the right and an answer to the left, like a lot of college offenses that you see. I about fell off the couch when I heard that.
Outstanding. See, Pete knows what's up.
This is one of my favorite Pete seasons ever, man.
Oh, he's feeling it. Pete is feeling it in the press conferences. I should ask Wilson if we can build a Pete is feeling it compilation from all of his press conference answers when he's asked about certain things, because that would be a fun thing to listen to. I think
it would be gold. It would be gold. Take that little clip from Rich Eisen too, where he's basically being the interpreter of what Pete's saying at the podium like Peel was at it was Key at the Obama White House press conference dinner or whatever, the anger translator.
Right.
Like, yeah, add that in too.
Because although I feel like Seahawks fans, as Seahawks fans, we know Pete speak enough to where we all have that translator in our head.
Oh, I know, but it's just fun. This is easily one of my favorite Pete seasons, man. Like, he is so on fire. He's so on it. He's got the right group of guys for his style. His vision's coming to life. And we're just not having to deal with some of the drama that we have in the past. And that is not a shot just at Russell Wilson. Like, that is a shot at, Earl. That is a shot at Sherm a little bit. That's a shot at, there's been a number of dudes, right? Where you've been like, God, man.
Yeah.
Like,
keep the drama out of it.
Yeah.
But what do you say we get to the second half of the show?
Am I out of Cardinals insults?
I guess I should have asked that. Adam, are you out of Cardinals insults to the point to where we can get to the second half of the show?
Cliff Kingsbury's not as handsome as he thinks he is. He's kind of ugly. That's it. That's all I got. Second half of the show it is.
All right. You reminded me of one thing, though, with your final comment to the first half of the show. Did you see Pete Carroll? Like, there was a reaction shot of him, like, just sitting on the couch after the win against the Cardinals last time.
Well, it was Kingsbury. It was that
was
picture
it the
was tweeted
exact
out by
view?
the Cards.
Did they just Photoshop Pete into the
Pete's
Kingsbury
head on top of Kingsbury's body?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I knew it looked familiar. I wasn't sure if he broke into his house, if they just had another house that was similar to where they could set that up.
No,
it wasn't.
You remember that was that first draft of Kingsbury, right?
Yeah,
and
everybody was like, "Oh, what a baller that Kingsbury is with that backdrop."
Yeah, sitting in his Bond villain mansion doing the draft by himself, not wearing socks with loafers, gross. And then, then the Seahawks, that's what they did after the last game. They just chopped Pete's head on top there. It was fantastic.
Not as elaborate as maybe I would have hoped, but equally as funny. Jake from our Facebook Ring of Honor group says, Brandon, Adam, question for the pod. Of all the trades you've seen from this past week, which one do you wish the Seahawks had done? And there were a lot of trades at the trade deadline, Adam. I mean, we can run through at least some of the most notable ones. I mean, you had the Jaguars getting Calvin Ridley from the Falcons. They gave up a 2023 fifth and a 2024 second. You had Bradley Chubb.
Oh, I missed that one.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's easy to miss because Ridley's because Ridley's suspended for the season. So it's kind of a weird one in that sense. You're trading for a dude who's coming off of, you hope is coming off of suspension next year. That's not even a certainty, right? But
yeah, it better be. I mean, he got a year for betting in comparison
that would be
to
enough. Right.
Comparison to some of the other players in this league who have gotten far less for, I don't know, 26 counts of doing it worse.
Exactly. You got Miami Dolphins picking up Bradley Chubb from the Broncos. Thank you. And they gave up their first round pick in 2023 and a fourth round pick in 2024. And their running back Chase Edmonds, they traded to the Broncos.
I love how Broncos fans are acting like they got somebody with Chase Edmonds too. Like, that one's hilarious to me. Like, whoa, and then we got Edmonds in here. Like, what a great part of this, an unsung part of this deal. It's like, oh, you got a barely league average back. Congratulations.
Whose strength is catching passes out of the backfield.
Right. Yeah. You should be more excited about that first round pick that they got back, because that's an overpay. I wouldn't have given up more than a second for Chubb. He's completely inconsistent, has been injury prone, and he just isn't that dominant edge guy that you would hope for a first round pick.
No, but I agree that it's not a good deal. And so this one, yes, Jake, we would not advocate for this one. But the reason why I'm happy about it is that you're taking one of their best pass rushers off the team for the rest of the season. It makes the Broncos worse for the remainder of the season. and hopefully we get a better draft pick because of it.
It's certainly a give up move. And that was fun to see. You know, you can tell where George Payton's head's at with this one, because he's like, yeah, we're going over this year. I better get that first back. So,
all right. The Bears, they got Chase Claypool for a 2023 second round pick. That one seems, again, a little steep.
For a guy who will never figure it out. He's a head case.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily go there. It's just you don't give up good wide receivers for if you're the Steelers. And
yeah, you do. They grow on trees in Pittsburgh.
I guess after seeing what they did with Antonio Brown and what he did after leaving Pittsburgh, like I just wouldn't want to trade for a receiver from the Steelers.
Oh God, no. And I wouldn't have traded for Claypool. The guy is all ego and not enough work.
The Vikings, they get TJ Hawkinson from the Detroit Lions.
Weird.
Well, it's not that weird. I think the Irv Smith is injured for the Vikings, and so they wanted somebody to replace him.
So if Kittle goes down for the Niners and we were still before the trade deadline, hypothetically, would you trade or if you're the Cards, would you trade them Zach Ertz?
Oh, yeah, being in the division. Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Yeah, that is bizarre. Mid-season in the division? I don't know, man.
2023 fourth round pick and a 2024 conditional fourth. They get the tight end, a fourth, a conditional fourth, and they gave up a 2023 second round pick and a 2024 third round pick. So they're exchanging picks. The Lions, all they do is they swap from a later round to an early round 2 years in a row.
So, okay. That was very confusing the way that you said that. So the Vikings get Hawkinson and 2 fourths, and the Lions get a second and a third.
They do. Yeah.
So essentially, like you're saying, those 2 other picks from the next subsequent years, you go from a fourth to a third, a fourth to a second. Plus you got rid of Hawkinson and his number, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fourth to a second, fourth to a third. So
whatever order it is, sure. Yeah.
It seems like an okay. I would put that one in contention.
For the one that you would want?
The one but then I would say, well, why do the Seahawks need TJ Hawkinson? So
yeah, no thanks. I'm good on that one. He's an underachiever. Nope.
Except he tore us up when the Lions played us.
I know he did, but look at his. I'm not going to make my evaluation off of his one great game against us, and I'm going to continue to make the evaluation based off his entire career.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. The Ravens, they made the move for Roquan Smith from the Bears. That was one that people, I think at least Seahawks fans were saying as a potential option is an upgrade for the defense because, add Roquan Smith to the middle of the Seahawks defense. That makes a lot of sense. But then you're giving up a second round pick and a 5th round pick is what the Ravens threw in that.
And you're going to have to sign him to a big deal.
And really that's the biggest part of that is he's going to be paid as a top 5 linebacker.
So as a Seahawks fan, I would not want to have done that. Now for the Ravens, which this might be their last year of Lamar since he's been really weird and cagey about signing an extension. Mm-hmm. You might as well go for it. So I think if I were a Ravens fan, first I'd probably jump off the nearest bridge just because gross. But if I didn't do that, then I'd be excited about this trade.
Chiefs, they added Giants wide receiver Kadarius Toney, and they get
he might be good there.
He might be fine. They get a third round comp pick and a 2023 6th round pick.
Damn. Who is the Gettleman? He was the Giants GM, right? The one that made that Toney pick in the first round 2 years ago. And everyone was like, seriously, dude? Like, really? And then they get back a third and change. Like, ouch. And no production from the time he was there. But then again, he didn't play with a good quarterback. So,
right. Yeah. And, what is Toney really good at? Running really fast down the field. And if Daniel Jones can't get him the ball, I know Patrick Mahomes, he's got the arm to be able to do it. So that move makes a lot of sense for the Chiefs.
I think that's probably insurance just in case like Juju gets hurt or Meacham gets hurt or.
Yeah, they picked up the other rookie.
Cole, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, but they drafted another receiver who's really fast this year too.
Oh, yeah, Sky Moore. Yeah.
Eagles, I think we covered this one. They got Robert Quinn from the Bears for a 2023 4th-round pick.
Solid move.
It seems like a solid move. The compensation's not crazy. I'd put that one in contention.
You know what? I would have, with all the extra picks for this next year, that might have been one I would have done for this year. A little D-line help for a 4th, but it's only for 1 year. 4ths are pretty good. No, you know what? Screw that. Nope. I wouldn't want to mess with the chemistry.
From the question from Jake is, of all the trades, which one do you wish that the Seahawks did? And I guess maybe the thing is you don't take any of them, but
that was my answer in the Facebook group.
The Jets, they got James Robinson from the Jaguars for a conditional 6th-round pick. You know what? I think that one's mine. I'd take the backup, like the running back insurance of James Robinson for a conditional 6th. I'd take that for Seattle with Penny being out. Okay.
I wouldn't hate it, but
it's a 6th.
I don't know. I get it. We find dudes there though. Like we actually, do things with those picks occasionally.
Obviously, Christian McCaffrey trade, 2023 2nd-round pick, 2023 3rd-round pick, 2023 4th-round pick, and a 2024 5th-round pick.
And Kyle Shanahan's mom, the Louisiana purchase back to France, and something else too.
Yeah,
one of the worst overpays in NFL history. I'll talk more about that later.
They got a lot out of McCaffrey here this first full game with the Niners.
I know it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then the Cardinals get Robbie Anderson for what was it, a pick swap or something? Not a big deal, but again, you're not really getting anybody in the trade.
No, you're just getting the world's foremost Baker hater.
So yeah, I would say at the Ridley deal, I feel like you're getting a good receiver for not having to give up a whole lot. I guess Ridley could be a good 3, but it seems like a better move for Jackson. I don't wish.
Yeah, why would you want to give up one of your seconds from next year for a offensive player?
The only thing that I'm thinking is that if you're going to use a pick on a receiver anyway, like at least you have a dude that is good for a couple of years. But
wouldn't do it. Look, man, I am on the record now. I'd love to run it back with Geno. I'd love to take all 4 of those top picks in whatever combination, whether it comes in trade or if they just use those ones or trade down or however it is that it works out on defense. Just do that, please. And I am jazzed. Or interior offensive lineman. And I'm good.
Well, I am jazzed about our members of the flock. They went to getintheflock.com. Also jazzed about our executive producers, DCH, Dustin Mock, Brian Shaw, and Rebecca Christensen.
Yeah, I'm more country music about our executive producers instead of jazzed. I mean, I like jazz, but I like country music better. No matter what kind of slander Lisa Carlson throws out there towards country music, it is the best genre of music that's ever been invented. And so I think that represents the people of our executive producers. They're amazing. They're basically the Garth Brooks, Clint Black, Dwight Yoakam. Let's see, how many do we have? We have 5? Five executive producers?
We have 4, yeah.
4. And John Anderson of executive producers. That's who they are.
Oh, not any love for Reba or Trisha?
No. I mean, she's fine. If you're thinking about the best 90s country music stars to compare to our amazing executive producers, those would be the ones right off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, if I wanted to go old school, I just didn't want to make any of them feel old and be like Waylon or, sure, David Allan Coe or.
Well, this is why that Adam and I, we listen to podcasts together whenever we go on a road trip. So there you go. We got some new members of the flock. Bennett Levine in at $3 a month saying, "What's up, guys? I have been freeloading for too long now and wanted to cleanse my chakra before we take on the Giants this Sunday. Winning would really make a statement to the league. that we are legit this year. You guys are my favorite pod on the planet. Thank you for all that you do.
Catfish!
The Rams.
Catfish!
49ers.
Catfish!
That random bottom feeder team, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. See, look, he's got it all worked out, man. He knows the exact vibe of this show. And also, too, understanding that if you are a freeloader right now and you haven't gotten into the flock to add to the combined Hawker of this group, not only are you not helping the Let's Ride curse so that we get better draft picks, but you're probably putting the success of this team for the rest of the year in peril. Like, we need you in the flock to help the Hawker, man.
It's possible. You don't want to chance it, is what I think I hear you saying.
Right.
Katie, not taking any chances. She's in the flock at $3 a month. Welcome to the flock to Katie.
See, again, Katie, all these folks, they know what's going on. And what are we going to do now that they get in the flock in the middle of the Pick'em League?
Well, I mean, they can still, maybe they have been participating in the Pick'em League. There's people that once they find out that they win a Pick'em League prize, that's like when they decide that it's time to cleanse their Hawkra and get into the flock. So, I mean, it's fine to participate and then, jump in whenever you feels right.
There are the weekly prizes. That's for sure. Like if you don't win the whole bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Stephen Kirkpatrick is back in with the score donation via Zelle, saying keeping the streak alive. Tags it with an in the morning. 2723. Thanks to Stephen.
Hey, Stephen, he's got the value for value down. Like, he knows where we stole that from.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Appreciate it, bud. Yeah. See, that's a legit little flocker right there with Stephen. Like, he's got his own lane. Like, he's claiming the Zelle back again. This is great.
Rick Edgar in at $36 with the annual donation. Welcome to the flock to Rick.
Hell yeah, Rick. And the annual donation's a great way to go, right? Because then you don't have to remember things month to month, which I'm bad at.
And 36, it's like if you feel like you can swing that for 1 month and then you're in the clear for a whole year, and it works out good for our deal too, because I think you don't have to pay whatever monthly service fees that go along with making payments too. It all works out.
It does. Absolutely. And then you have clear Hawker for an entire year. That's like, I don't know, 2 12 packs.
Yeah. If you want to buy us 2 12 packs of beer, then $36 a month is a great amount to get in on. And in at $3 a month, or back in Jeremy Hansavada in at $3 a month. So that, again, that may have been just a payment issue. That might have been coming back in issue. Welcome back, Jeremy.
Yeah. Welcome back, Jeremy. We appreciate it, man. And, just in time, because when they beat the Cardinals this next week, then you only have to go 500 the rest of your games, Brandon, to end up at 10 wins.
Holy smokes.
I think that's surefire playoffs if you get to 10 wins this year.
Like, if just beat the Cardinals,
and then you play heartbroken Tom Brady. You play the Rams twice, who are just broken on the inside. Like, all you got to do is go 500 over that stretch.
Taro Conco in at $2 Australian a month says, I was updating my Patreon payment details and figured it was time to stop being a freeloader. Got to get Adam out of the mill. Adding to the Hawkra from Sydney, Australia. Hashtag Let's Ride Curse.
Yeah, Let's Ride Curse. I appreciate it, man. Well, getting out of the mill is happening one way or the other. And I am a little scared. So you guys have been really awesome so far this season, and I know Brandon's got more, but just want to say thank you in advance. Because first of the year's coming up quickly here.
Well, hey, if you start making those $10 bets into $100 bets, you might be retiring from the podcast if you continue your streak.
I am not banking my financial future on sports gambling. Like that doesn't seem like a solid way to go about it. That's for sure.
Hey, you keep running the table every week. We'll see how good at it you really are.
Yeah, I mean, that's okay. I'm good on that. I like this betting fake money thing.
Yeah, the fake money is not a bad way to go. Noah Golden in at 1212. Welcome to the flock to Noah.
Heck yeah, man. Welcome to the Ring of Honor. That's been blowing up this year, man. There's just so many great posts in the Ring of Honor these last few weeks. You guys are outstanding, man. Like, just the greatest 12s to ever 12.
Ring of Honor Facebook group for those who get in at $12.12 a month. And William Rawl also getting in the flock at €5 a month, saying, I would just like to thank you all for the work and effort you put in. I am really enjoying everything involved with the Seahawks at the moment. The football is fun to watch. It's good, solid football on both sides, and all the players at the sidelines looking re-energized and full of juice. No more so than Pete. I'm enjoying all your pods and the extra content. That's why I moved up to the tier of I'm a Little Flocker. Just a small token of appreciation to you. Thanks for everything. Side note, are you doing prizes for the Pick'em League, as I am really going for it this year for once? I'm in the hunt also. I'm just here so I don't get fined. Pick'em team name. Thanks again for everything. Cheers from Will. Go Hawks.
Cheers back, Will. Appreciate all your work finding us on whatever platform that it is that you listen, and putting in the time to consume all the amazing content that Brandon's putting out and Clinton's putting out and Wilson's putting out and Phil's putting out. I mean, geez Louise, the lineup that these fellas have put together is just outrageous. It's so good. It was all sorts of different stuff. And I appreciate that Will is on board with all of it. And I'm totally on board with his comment there, man. You're right. This team has juice, and it's been fun.
Yeah, so it's probably been a while since I've brought up the prizes that we have for the Pick'em League. We have a signed Steve Largent and Kenny Easley full-size helmet that would be my pick for the top prize. Now, you may decide that one of the other prizes is for you based on whatever your fandom is. The active player signed helmet that we have, it's a mini helmet, not the full size, but it's Quandre Diggs mini helmet. So, that's you may decide to go one way or the other, but those I think are the two top prizes that we have right now. And by the end of the season, as my purchasing, if I see something really cool, I'll grab it and I'll throw it into the final prizes for the end of the season. So this is partly so I can enjoy buying cool Seahawks stuff and then just be able to give it away to the people who perform the best in the Pick'em League this year. Absolutely. You always do an awesome job of finding some of the coolest stuff. There's no doubt about it. And I love that this is an amazing excuse for you to kind of scratch that itch, Yeah, it works. It works out real well for my deal. It works out real well for listeners and the people who perform the best in Pick'em. Danny King in at £5 a month. Welcome to the flock to Danny.
Appreciate the love from overseas. No doubt about that. I wonder if Danny's gonna if he was one of the very lucky few to manage to get tickets in Germany. I wonder if he's gonna go across the channel and go see Heartbroken Tom.
It's going to be a fun game to see. I'm jealous. I know I talked to Dana O'Gorman from Field Goals and Hawk Blogger, and she's heading over here this week and is going to go to the game. And she happened to get tickets through the regular channel of just being online when they went on sale. So she was one of the wizards that actually able to get in on those.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. Good job.
Daniel Abbott emailed in and said, hello, I'm determined to stick to my word after finally winning my first fantasy football game last week. Can you provide a link to do so? And I sent Daniel to seahawkerspodcast.com/support. There's a PayPal button there. There's our Venmo information there. There's our P.O. box if you just want to send a regular check. It's right there on the website. And Daniel sent in $50 via PayPal.
Holy
saying,
smokes.
all because I won a fantasy game. So yeah, if you find value in the show, whether it's you find yourself winning at football, you find yourself winning at other things, or you get something out of all the shows that we put out and want to help support it, you can go to getintheflock.com.
A huge thanks to all you guys. This week helped buoy my spirits a little bit as the first year rapidly approaches, and I get more and more nervous about not having the stream of income that I've been accustomed to. So, yeah. Thank you. It helps.
Oh, and Terrell Buchanan gave us a raise, $3 to $5. So thanks, Terrell.
Yeah, big shout out to Terrell.
All right, Adam, what do you say we take a look at some Pick'em League standings?
Yeah, man. I'm pretty sure I'm not at the top since we're no longer doing after the fact picks just for time purposes these last few weeks. So
here's the thing. Even when you were doing your after the fact picks, You weren't even getting close to the top 10 anyway. So,
I mean, you don't have to rub it in.
I thought the point of it was to give you an opportunity to compete amongst the top picks people, but you were still being terrible.
Well, yeah, I'm no cheater.
Well, we might have to check to see if Poonamelt's a cheater. Poonamelt at number 1 for week 8, 14 picks correct.
Woo, that is a lot.
Is that all of them? Because there's a bye. We're into bye weeks now.
Yeah, that's a true fact. Yeah, 4 teams on a bye every week.
It's
right?
It's pretty good either way. We got my Dixon is bigger with 13. The Sofa King at 13, 43-8. Michael Dixon's big balls. P heart shaped box, like that one. Pancakes over waffles. Woods and Puna, and Quandre 3000, all at 13 picks correct.
Dang, man. Flockers be on fire this week. Competition's stiff out there.
Yeah, everybody's stepping up their game considering how things are going, I think. Makes it easy when you have an automatic win when you pick Seattle.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, makes your picks look good, makes you feel good. Seattle feels good. Everything's good.
All right. Well, looking at the top standings, we have 12th Aussie leading the way, 80 points overall. And then we've got, let's see, with 79 points followed up there. We'll just do the top 4. I miss Carlester Crumpler. I'm just here so I don't get fined. And my Dixon is bigger. There we go.
There you go, man. Those are your guys that are and gals that are crushing it here in the first 8-9 weeks of the season.
Keep it up. Halfway there.
Absolutely.
Well, not even quite halfway there, but generally halfway there, because once you get to those final 3 weeks in the playoffs, there's not a whole lot of movement as far as the top 5 go.
Got to make your moves early.
Got to do it now during the bye weeks. Now is the critical time. All right. We got a couple more people with some email. If you go to SeahawkersPodcast.com, click on the contact link, or email GoHawks@SeahawkersPodcast.com. You can be a part of our mailbag here that we do at this part of the show. And we have, the Bard coming in. Hi, fellas. This is a nice situation to be in and a complete surprise because John was one of our Pick'em League winners from the past 2 weeks. Toonhawk taking the win. So the Bard says, it's taken a few weeks for it all to come together, but all 3 phases are on an upward curve. Even Russ is getting a little bit better after Wembley on Sunday, which was a shame, but we are still drafting 7th, which should get us a good pick. Listening to Pete, I feel he is really enjoying this, which will help keep him young. This might not please everyone, but let's surf the wave and see where we end up. Further than where I and a lot more others would have us, I would suggest. Go Hawks and keep going. The Bard.
Go Hawks, John. You're not lying, my man. They may eclipse my 7-win prediction before week 10. May happen.
I saw a lot of emails saying I was predicting 5 and they're already at 5. So good on you.
Like we said before, this is really enjoyable watching it, Pete, this year. I wonder if the Cards are going to enjoy their second half of the season collapse since it's the start of the second half of the season this week. Like, are they going to enjoy that as much as we're enjoying our season? What happens when you collapse early and then now you have to collapse more? Like, what does that look like? The Lions?
That's probably a lot what the Lions look like. It looks like a job opening, I think, is how others would start to see it toward the end of the year too.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer. Like when you have a bad coach in your division, you kind of want to hold on to him. Yeah.
I'm a big Cliff fan.
No.
I'm a huge Cliff fan.
I think they should ride it out. Just a couple more years. You paid them the money.
And that's the thing. They may just do that. I mean, you invest that much, but then again, when you've got such a pouty quarterback, like, does it matter who you bring in there? Can you imagine if they brought in like an authoritarian coach of some kind, like one of the Harbaughs or something?
Oh my gosh.
What would happen to Kyler at that point? Do you think he just start taking batting practice? Like, what do you think would happen?
I don't know. It might actually make him better. I think that Kyler could use that kind of coaching.
Do you think he's at all open to that?
I mean, I guess we'd have to see the results.
I don't know, man. I think the writing's on the wall on that one.
I don't know. I wonder how those generations would clash.
Not well. Not well.
Hugh at Lloydzilla out on Twitter says, I had to be in London for work on Sunday. I was on the tube as loads of Broncos fans were coming away from the Wembley game. I suddenly realized I was in my Seahawks hoodie as they started to tell me how good Russ was and how they were going to make the Super Bowl now, then shouting, "Let's ride" at me. I nodded and smiled at them, knowing that we have the better record, all their draft picks, and MVP-no, and now an even better record as we slay the Giants. Plus, we now appear to have a defense that is turning into the real deal, and I don't think anyone should underestimate the impact Ryan Neal has had since he's come back into the team. And he makes it look like such a better team. Throw in special teams that don't look ordinary anymore, and we might just be the real deal. If anyone is going to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl, it will be the Seahawks, not the catfishing Ruscos. Keep up the awesome work, and go Hawks, from Hugh.
Hey, Hugh, here's the thing. I watched the Bronco fan reaction over the course of this week, and just the sense of, well, we saved our season, everything's good, Russ is good again, everything is solved, we beat the Jags in London.
Yeah.
I even saw things like, I commented on one video, it was just like, yeah, no, it's the Let's Ride curse, you can't get over it with a win against the Jags, like, good luck. It was more in depth than that, but there you go. And I got a response back that said that hashtag mile high knees were greater than the Let's Ride curse. Mile high knees. They're not only are they delusional enough to think that this is saving their season, this win against the Jaguars, but they also are buying into the, well, you know, the first hour I was on the flight, I solved world peace, and then on the second hour that I was on the flight, like, you know, basically, I just solved the energy for the entire world. Third hour, I did high knees. Fourth hour, everybody else is sleeping, but I was watching film. Like, give me a break, man. They're buying into all of it, man.
That's fine.
It was wild.
Russ did look better against the Jags this last weekend. That's a fact.
At the end of the game.
Yeah.
Again, one or two drives does not make a good game. It just doesn't. It's a lot like, this is what I don't understand. So as the defense starts to turn, right, since the first time we played the Cardinals, both you and me, Brandon, we were up here going, okay, look better. Let's see some more. Okay, look better again. Let's see some more. Like, neither of us were.
No, they're like, we beat the Jags. We're going to the Super Bowl. Here we go.
Here we go. Like, that's the thing that I can't understand. And not only that, but I think your GM, Bronco fan, let you know that you guys are screwed this year, and he already knows it.
We will see how it goes. I know we've got one MVP quarterback between these two teams, and the more likely is MVP-no. So Clinton tells me he has a signed Geno Smith football to give away to the flock. And so what we're going to do, because we want to get some good comments and subscriptions over at YouTube, go to youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. Click on episode 389 after you hear this, or while you're listening to it, if you're listening to it on YouTube. Make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, and then in the comments section, you can leave a comment, but as long as you put MVP-no in the comments.
No, that's not what you put. We got to change that.
What?
MVP-no's ball. Like, yeah, MVP-no's ball.
MVP-no's
I want to say
ball.
balls, but it's inaccurate. Yeah. No, catfish it. We're saying MVP-no's balls. That's what you put in the comment.
I'm just going to search for MVP-no, but if you want to add a little flair to it, like Adam suggests, that's on you.
Come on, that's fun.
Hey, I'm saying the minimum requirement to qualify is MVP-no. And you're saying maybe it gives you a little extra Hakra if you add a little flair.
Go big or go home, like MVP-no's balls.
So head on over, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast. And before we get to do better and better at life, Adam, we've got a voicemail.
Yes. I love it when we get voicemails.
What's up, Adam and Brandon? It's Jeremy from Orange, California, and I'm calling after a brief layoff with some more trivia for you. 2 questions today. 1, how many NFL teams have Pete Carroll, John Schneider never beaten? Keep in mind they have played all the AFC teams 3 times, and Pittsburgh, Denver, and the Chargers 4 times. But how many NFL teams has Pete Carroll never beaten? And the second question is, I want you to rank these quarterbacks in order of career regular season rushing yards as a Seahawk. Jim Zorn, Rick Meyer, Matt Hasselbeck, David Craig, Seneca Wallace. Rank them in order. Zorn, Meyer, Hasselbeck, Craig, Wallace. Go Hawks.
Wow, Jeremy coming back with the trivia after a long layoff.
Yeah, I like how it was an ambush too. I respect that. Just out of the blue. Okay.
So it was Zorn, Meyer, Wallace. Yep. Was it Hasselbeck and Craig were the 5?
Okay. All right. I think, I don't know about you, Brandon, but let's workshop this here a little bit.
Sure. And just to get the other question out of the way too, just so I have it in my mind, it was was it 3 teams that the Seahawks haven't beaten?
Right. Okay.
In the AFC.
3 teams in the AFC. Well, it's no longer, it was the Chargers under Russ, but that's gone now.
Yeah. I want to say,
who do we just not see? We just don't see. The Titans?
The Titans would probably be one. Cincinnati is maybe jumping out as a possibility.
Yeah. We never see Cincy. Okay. I like it.
Well, I know we faced off against Cincy with Sherm. Richard Sherman had one of his solid games against the Bengals, like his rookie season. But I don't know if we won that.
Was that the game that Cam? No, that was against the Browns that Cam planted the running back.
Yeah.
That was hard to see. Yeah. Okay. The Jets? I just thinking of that stupid Vinny Testaverde non-touchdown touchdown that.
Well, that was even before. That was before Pete.
Oh yeah, no, this is just with Pete and John, right? That was the question.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay, that changes things. All right. Have we beaten the Steelers since John and Pete?
Yeah, Russ had a shootout game with the Steelers that I was at. I remember that win.
Okay.
Beating the Chiefs, Broncos, obviously multiple times. I know we've beat the Ravens.
Okay.
I'll say I'm pretty sure we beat the Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. Let's see. I'm gonna say Bengals is one.
I'm gonna say Titans is one.
I'm almost positive that Titans is one of the 3.
Yeah.
And do we say the Jets? It's Pete against a former team, though. He usually gets those wins.
Put an awful lot of thought into this.
I know. That's probably way more than we need to, but let's go Bengals, Titans, Jets, I guess.
Okay.
Or Bills?
They beat the Bills handily in Toronto.
Yeah, that was a memorable game. All right.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, those are our 3. So now we got to go through. Jeremy, we got to do just one of these.
I know, 2's fine. We got it.
Okay.
What was the second one again? Yeah.
Rushing leaders ranked between Zorn, Rick Meyer, Seneca Wallace, Matt Hasselbeck, Dave Craig.
Okay, so this is let's workshop this a bit.
Hasselbeck and Craig, terrible runners, but longevity-wise,
but they were there forever.
They were there a long time, so they had opportunities to just
a
little bit here and there.
Zorn had a pretty good stint, and he was also very mobile. I would like to say that Zorn is one on that list.
Zorn feels like number 1 to me.
Yes.
Now, they had packages with Seneca Wallace. In addition to backing up Hasselbeck, he had those other opportunities while he's with the team. But I don't know if it was enough to go number 2.
That's what I'm saying. So I think the number 2 guy has to be between Hasselbeck and Craig, just based on longevity.
Yeah. I would take Hass over Craig.
I would too. Okay. So Zorn, Matt, and then I would probably say Seneca at that point.
Yeah, where do you fit in Rick Meyer with all this? Because he was a rookie quarterback.
Before Dave Craig.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think Craig is number 5 on this list?
I do.
Okay. So Zorn, Matt, Seneca, Rick Meyer, Dave Craig.
But Rick Meyer was not here for all that long.
It was a good 3 years.
But he was athletic.
He was athletic.
Yeah.
I think I'm leaning toward Meyer over Seneca.
About the same amount of time, though.
It's probably really close. It's probably the toughest part of this list.
Yeah, this is Jeremy's trickery section.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to say Zorn, Matt, Rick Meyer, Seneca Wallace, Dave Craig.
I would just flip-flop Seneca and Craig.
Yeah, I don't feel great about having Craig at the bottom.
He's as mobile as I am.
But he also had the longevity to where he could pick up, even if he ran for
5 yards
80
here,
yards a
10 yards
season
there.
on average. Think about it. 80 yards a season is not a whole lot for a quarterback, just scrambling and picking up a few yards here and there. You do that from 1983, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89. There were some injuries in there. But still, that's over 500 yards if you average that over 7 years.
Gosh, you are true. Okay, I'm with you. Yep.
Seneca might be the bottom.
No, Meyer's the bottom.
Okay. Zorn, Matt, Dave, Seneca Wallace, Rick Meyer.
Yeah, I like that. That's my list.
All right, we'll see how he did. I could look right now, but it'll be more fun if Jeremy calls back and gives us the answer next week.
You betcha, man. Looking forward to it. Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
How should people leave a voicemail for the show for us to play on the show, just like we did with Jeremy's there, because we play them all. If you just bother to call in and leave one.
253-235-9041.
Yeah.
And I think it was Jeremy. You cut out Jeremy, if it is you, but I think you're the only person that I know from Orange that starts with a J. Yeah. But Google transcribed your name as Jimmy, and I'm pretty sure I don't know of any Jimmy from Orange that we have listening to the show.
Maybe Jimmy G went and murdered Jeremy and is taking over his quiz,
his corner
game here.
Yeah, well, Hey, Jeremy, it's been like 4 years since last time you sent us a quiz, so.
Oh, it's been like a year and a half. No, I think he sent some last year.
It could be.
I don't know.
All right. On to do better and better at life.
All right, man. My do better this week is for all of the San Francisco 49ers love that I have been listening to, subjected to, having to listen to for this entire week. It is so unbelievably frustrating to now have a team that you can easily say is legit. It is actually winning the division, and all you hear about is the San Francisco Bay Area 49ers. Like, it is gross. I was at the end of the game this last week as I'm driving home, and I'm like, sweet, we won the game. This is fun. We beat the stupid Giants. Like, let's hear some talk on NFL Network, Sirius Station. All they talked about was this freaking 49ers. Like, they even had George Kittle come on for an interview talking all about how they're all fixed with their overpay for CMC. And then throughout the week, I get to listen to the likes of Chris Sims and his dad, Phil Sims.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think? Do you think the Niners walk down the Seahawks to win the division? Oh, yeah. 49ers definitely do. There's no way they all get injured and screw up. Like, it's just they're definitely going to walk down the Seahawks. I'm hearing this everywhere that I go when I look on the YouTubes and TV and all this stupid nonsense. Look, there's a team that is clearly a more complete team and actually has a history, or at least this year, of being a lot more healthy than the stupid Bay Area 49ers. Those guys are just 2 weeks away from that entire roster falling apart yet again. Like, it is going to happen. And then you even have Vegas having the Niners still favored to win this division. All right, we lost the first game to the Niners, and the score looks a certain way. Go back and watch that video. It was just a weird game, man. I'm telling you, the Seahawks are going to beat the Niners the next time we see them. We're winning this stupid division. I'm so sick and tired of the stupid Bay Area 49ers catfish love fest. It's a bunch of crap. This team needs to get its due. I'm sick of you media. Do better.
If there's any game to put stock in less than the one between the Jaguars and the Denver Broncos, it would be the one between the Rams and 49ers. Like, talk about a team that has owned one team historically, and it's a home game every time they play down in Los Angeles, which it was again. I saw the pictures, and it was a freaking sea of red down against the Rams, where they're having to go silent count in their home stadium. The Rams are beat up. And yeah, they've just been owned by San Fran over the years. So I don't even know why the media would get excited necessarily over a 31-14 win over the Rams when they probably should have won by more.
Yeah. And they just got blown out by the Chiefs the week before that.
And the Falcons the week before that.
Christian McCaffrey is not going to be the savior of the San Francisco 49ers. Their own players even say that. I don't know, man. This is a down year for the Niners. It just made me mad. Like, we win. We're leading the division. We beat a one-loss team that everybody seemed to think was decent and couldn't get an edge or word in edgewise on the NFL Sirius station. It was just, they might as well have the host dressed in burgundy and gold and having pom-poms. It was stupid.
Geno is at least getting some love, though. So at least there's that part of it. I
guess.
Everybody's having to say we are so wrong about Geno because everybody was. There's nobody coming into the sea and saying, well, I will take that back because there were a few people that looked at the Jaguars game last year and said, yes, that's what Geno's going to be like for the Seahawks.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was a short sample size.
That was the list. Those people.
That was the list.
You nailed it.
Absolutely. Credit where credit's due.
All right. Might do better this week. You know, I was going to go a different way, but I'm still not over this from when I did my trip down to Florida and Minnesota. We came back. They lost one of our bags. And for one, you know, you have
Who's they?
Delta.
Who's they?
Delta.
Oh, that's honestly unusual for them. Okay.
Well, I've never had it happen, but yeah, they lost one. It was kind of a weird situation too, because we were supposed to board the flight that we were on, got redirected to Idaho or something because of high winds. And then it came in late. And so I think there was just a lot going on, but that part of it is not that bad. Like, we got our bag back. It's fine. But when we're at the bag counter and they say, because it was late at night when we got in because it was delayed. And they said, you know, do you want your bag closer to afternoon? Because, you know, you probably want to sleep in. And we're like, yeah, we do. We don't want it first thing in the morning. And what did they do? First thing in the morning, about 7:45, ring at the doorbell. Here's our bag. And explicitly after, it wasn't just like we made the request. It was, hey, do you want this? Because I know it could be early tomorrow. And we're like, yeah, that sounds great. And then they still get it wrong. Man, Delta, do better.
Okay, I'm with you. I mean, they did offer and didn't do the thing that they said they were going to do. But I will say this, in comparison to United,
yeah,
when they lose your bag and then know it's coming in at a different time, they're just like, yeah, I don't know, it's going to be here in a day or two. You can check back.
Yeah.
Like, they don't deliver it to your freaking house. Like that's actually pretty decent by Delta there.
Okay.
Now, they may have typhooned the time, but
they blew the time out of the water. But I know, I feel a little bit bad complaining. It was more there were bad things that happened on just about every leg of that trip. Like, okay, this one was even worse. We get to the airport to head to Minnesota. They put everybody onto the plane. We're all seated and ready to go. And they let us know that they don't yet have a pilot yet to fly us to Minnesota.
Oh, that all the time, dude.
And because they had, again, a plane got redirected. They had to fly a plane. They had to fly a pilot from Missoula to Kalispell just so they would have a pilot to fly us to Minnesota. And not, oh, well, hey, everybody, let's just hang out in the airport until we know what's going on. No, everybody get on the plane. No, you
sit your ass on that tube on the in the freaking tarmac, didn't you? Didn't you?
Yeah. We finished a whole movie before we even got started. No, maybe we didn't finish it, but we were watching Inception. I'd never seen Inception, and that's like a 2.5 hour, 2 hour, 45-minute movie. And it was fun.
I'll tell you, man, I don't know how many times I have been stuck in Little Rock, Arkansas, because United either didn't have a plane or a pilot for the flight that had been scheduled for well over a month. It snuck up on them. They had no idea. There was a stretch there, Brandon, 6 times in a row I went to fly out of Little Rock, and I didn't have a plane or a pilot to fly out. And then they often like to throw you through Houston for like no reason instead of just straight to Denver. Yeah. So I then missed my connection in Houston and get to stay another day in lovely Houston, Texas. Yeah, man, Delta out of the domestic carriers, in my experience, is the best. American after that, United is. There was one time my Pelican case came off the baggage claim in Carolina on a United flight, and all my tools had been heaped into a mound into the center of the Pelican case, and they had broke the latches in a way that they could get one to kind of connect, but there was like a 2-inch gap between the top of the lid and the contents of the case, like it was just open-ish.
Right.
It was if somebody just broke it, threw all of my tools in the middle of it, sat on it, broke the latch again to flick it underneath it. I had no idea what tools I had and what tools I didn't. It was midnight. I was pretty hot.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable, man. I do not like traveling via air if I can help it. I love the act of flying. I hate everything else about it.
Hopefully not too much more, at least frequently.
At least for business, man.
On to Better at Life.
All right, man. My Better at Life this week is for somebody who takes a lot of heat now and then within the 12's fan base. A guy who, plays a position that most people look at and say, you're not a real person. A special teamer. A guy who has come out and performed this year, despite a lot of people being down on his previous year's performance. That's kicker Jason Myers. Jason Myers. Guess what, Brandon? According to Wilson, I got this from him today when we were doing Prop Stars.
All right.
Leading the league in points.
Wow.
Jason, yes, your kicker, Seahawks fans, is leading the entire league in points, and they're scoring a lot of touchdowns. I think he's done a bang-up job this year. I know he's missed a couple here and there, but you can't expect a guy to be perfect. I think kickers are people too, and they get crapped on all the time. He's a guy we don't talk about, and I think it was time to give him a little bit of love. So for Jason Myers, leading the league in points scored, you are better at life than Skip Bayless.
I love it. Little kicker love. And now Jason Myers, let him be our kicker this year. After this year, time to move on, because next year it's going to be his bad year. And let's give that to another team.
I didn't even get 35 seconds after my do better, and you slandered the man.
No, I'm saying, can we come up?
You slandered him. Don't you? No, I mean, next year's a bad year. You slandered him. You straight up slandered him. Just let him ruminate in some positive vibes.
It's not slander if it's truth.
Okay. You don't know. It's not truth. You don't know that he's going to have a bad year next year. You don't know that for a fact. It's not a true fact.
But I do want to find
slander.
A contract scenario where we can sign a guy for every other year.
I see.
Like, I'll take Jason Myers on my team until he's 45. Just have him in even years and not odd years.
There you go. So the trick here is that you just got to find a kicker who's good in odd years, and you're good to go.
Let's do it.
Call him the even odd couple. Even though you slandered the guy I just praised. Yeah, how dare you?
No, I totally agreed with you. That's an excellent Better at Life.
Okay. All right.
My Better at Life this week. It's been a few weeks since the DK poop cart incident, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're starting to get more details from DK himself, even as he's telling Kay Adams from FanDuel why he needed the cart to go to the bathroom. Shoot, let's go right into it and hear from DK about the situation.
All right, so this is the full story. So this is the middle of the drive, and I come out for a play, and I told my receivers coach, I was like, hey, I got to go to the bathroom. He was like, you got to pee or do number 2. I said, I got to do number 2. And then it went away for like 10 seconds. So I was like, all right, I'll go back in the game. And when I was back in the game, the feeling came back up. So we ended up scoring like 2 plays later. And so I run back to the sideline, and they had a cart ready for me. So the head trainer was like, you got to go to the bathroom? I was like, yeah. He was like, there's a cart down there. I'm like, bro, I'm not taking a cart. So then the equipment manager comes up and was like, hey, it's a cart down there. I think you should go ahead and go. Pete wanted me to do it on the sideline. I'm like, no, I got too much respect for myself. I can't do it on the sideline. And so I hopped on the cart and went to the locker room. I was actually mic'd up that game too. So this is like very.
So NFL Films has full pooping.
Yeah, they got everything.
So a couple things with the story that tickles me a little bit. That one part that came up but wasn't in that clip. The reason why Pete said he should do it on the sideline is because when Larry Izzo was a player, like he actually did it on the sideline, and so he thought the DK should be like Larry, and DK's.
But wait, where on the sideline?
That's a good question. Like, how do you?
I mean, do they have like a bucket?
Well, or can you at least put up the injury tent and go into the injury tent and use that as the area, or do you have to? I see. Something tells me, because I don't think they had injury tents when Larry Izzo was playing in the NFL. And so I think he figured out, a way, either people huddled around him.
Gatorade bucket?
Oh,
yeah, but then what? Do you just poop on the turf?
I don't know.
Like, and then you got the poop cleaner upper to come by? I don't think so.
Hey, the next time we get Larry Izzo on here, we can ask him like everything that went into his poop incident,
his sideline poop incident.
For now, we have to settle with some of the details of what DK's given us. And my better at life isn't for DK Metcalf for telling the story. No, my better at life this week is for the people at NFL Films. Like you said, if he was mic'd up and this hasn't yet gotten out to TMZ, that group runs a tight ship. Now, yeah, I don't need to hear DK Metcalf bathroom noises. You don't need to hear it. But we know that TMZ would definitely pay for it if they had the opportunity, because they are not beyond putting that out there. So, for all of you at NFL Films, now maybe you're holding it for blackmail material on DK. That's fine. But if you're just being good people, you're better at life than Skip Bayless.
Got to protect the shield. Yeah, I purposely did not listen to any of that because I thought for sure that you would bring it up at some point in the pod. Now, I was starting to get a little nervous there towards the end, but because I just wanted to have a full reaction to it. It wasn't as sensational as I thought it was going to be. I'll say that from just the little reactions I had seen.
The full video, it makes it a little bit funnier hearing him talk about how Pete thought that he should do it just based off the fact that Larry Izzo had done it. Like, go back and watch the full video to get all that too.
Okay. All right.
But
yeah, you're right though about NFL Films, man. That Sable family, they run a tight ship there.
Yeah, because you have to figure. I mean, how much do you think that'd be worth to TMZ? 20 grand?
Somewhere between 5 and 20. Yeah.
I mean, DK is a pretty big celebrity. He goes beyond the NFL.
Sure. But I mean, how much do you actually pay for pooping sounds?
It would get you a lot of clicks to the website, I think.
For sure. There's somebody's going to click on it, man. Jeez Louise, who am I kidding? Like, I probably, you know what? If I didn't do this show, I wouldn't have clicked on it. I'll tell you that. Like, if it had gotten leaked,
it's just work. You're just doing work if it were there, because you have to, it's part of your job to know.
Yeah, I would feel derelict on duty if I did not investigate DK's poop sounds if they were available.
And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.